Jocelyn is originally from Sault Ste. Marie, where she grew up in the church and in a large family. She holds 2 master's degrees, one of which is a divinity degree from Trinity College in Toronto. Jocelyn currently lives in Calgary, where she works as a giver of respite to families with autistic children. She sings in the choir at Christchurch Elbow Park and is the parish rep for PWRDF there. Jocelyn?
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. If one member suffers, all suffer together with it. If one member is honored, all rejoice together with it. I am really grateful for the chance to be with you in the twice a month sessions. I feel as if the first half of this last sentence, if one member suffers, all suffer together with, summarizes quite succinctly what has been happening in our lives. Even if we have not been directly impacted by death or illness, death seems to be hovering over us. In the middle of the reading, there is a call to unity. I seem to be watching in real time as one part, I, is saying to another part, hand, I have no need of you. This breaks my heart. In reality, we do need each other. In reality, the honor of one is not possible without those who support and encourage. I am grateful for you, this group, because you have continued to show that we can work together. We can work for the common good. PWRDF is demonstrating in its actions what the gospel is calling us to do. It is heartwarming to be with like-minded people with a common mission. I am grateful also because I have connected again with people I left behind when I left Toronto. I am also grateful because this Thursday's service has educated me and broadened my perspective on what is possible, what is needed. You have given me hope and strengthened my faith and helped me to continue to feel gratitude. So thank you very much to each of you.
Valerie Smith has attended St. Mary Magdalene Anglican Church in Napanee, Ontario for nearly 35 years. During that time, she says, she has been more or less on the fringes of any PWRDF activities. She credits praying with PWRDF for having given her the impetus to become more involved, and thus to become very recently a parish rep for PWRDF, which we consider a win-win. Valerie.
Thank you, Suzanne. When I first joined praying with PWRDF early in 2020, it felt like an oasis of cool, clear water and nourishing food for my soul. It continues to be a soothing pause each time from the busyness of my weeks, and I am so grateful to Kim, Janice, and Suzanne for their faithful work putting together each wonderful program. The COVID pandemic caught us all off guard, and my reactions to it and its effects on me were surprising and unexpected. When I went through 3 episodes of depression in early 2021, thankfully transitory, and shared that with you, I felt the support of our whole parish. This is not an easy topic to talk about, and so when I found myself struggling the last couple of months with a feeling of lethargy, a general sense of malaise, a dispiritedness bordering on grief, I have spoken with only about 4 people. But I have felt so blessed, encouraged, and buoyed up after each prayer session. Imagine my surprise and relief reading Archbishop Linda Nichols' editorial in the March Anglican Journal and her courage in admitting her feelings of a weary depression and subsequent guilt. Yes, I have been beating myself up too. But this isn't about me. It's about the benefits of our corporate prayer, the support I hope I give back just by my presence to all of you who are coping with your own feelings of isolation and loss, and yes, grief. It saddens me when we pray for the families of people who have died. I try to hold you in my heart in the weeks following. And there are prayers of thanksgiving that give us joy and hope. This sharing, even through a Zoom screen, is powerful. Another aspect of praying with PWRDF is the wonderful stories of the reflectors. Zoom has allowed us to meet so many people, not only across Canada, but in other countries. The many speakers have filled my mind with rich food for thought and have reinforced the interconnectedness and amazing work of our partners in empowering women and their families. Meeting so many parishioners from across Canada has been a blessing too. It is my hope and prayer that I can meet some of you in person as more restrictions are lifted and to be able to hug each other. What a joyous time that will be. In the meantime, I give you all virtual hugs. Thank you.
The Reverend Greg Smith is a recently retired priest in the Diocese of Huron, where in addition to parish ministry, he taught at Huron College. He is now an honorary assistant at St. Aidan's in London, Ontario, where he serves as PWRDF parish rep. For many years, Greg has been the diocesan representative for PWRDF in Huron. He's also one of 9 facilitators for PWRDF's mapping exercise. Greg?
Thank you. I begin with the first verse of Genesis in the version known as the Message. Earth was a soup of nothingness, a bottomless emptiness, an inky blackness. And the world of science and the World Health Organization declared it a COVID-19 pandemic. God's spirit brooded like a bird above the watery abyss. God spoke. And praying with PWRDF emerged from the creative, spirit-inspired collective to bring some beauty and constructive order out of the chaos. And so God's people saw one another's faces from all regions of this northern part of Turtle Island. We were inspired by the faith in one another. We saw faces in person and heard in person the voices of partners from regions of the global community beyond the reach of most of us in physical terms. We prayed for our partners, and we prayed for one another's lives too. The creative inspiration was shared. Just by being brought into a Zoom room together, once in a while, from our individual and sometimes isolated other rooms, we were motivated, inspired in the hope for a truly just, healthy, and peaceful world. God looked over everything he had made. It was so good, so very good.
Pamela Oliver lives near Liverpool along the Mersey River in Nova Scotia, halfway between Halifax and Yarmouth. She has been a parish rep for PWRDF for a 5-point parish, the Anglican parish of South Queens, for 32 years. She also represents PWRDF to the 13 parishes of the South Shore region. And in 2012, Pam was named an honorary member of the PWRDF Corporation. Pam?
Thank you, Suzanne. I am always seeking ways to tell my parish about the good news of PWRDF. It became apparent early on in the pandemic that everyone leans on what is important in one's life and what each of us has to offer in shared prayer and shared information. We have become family, eager to be together and eager to learn. I was somewhat lost as COVID took away the major fundraiser I had organized for 30 years for PWRDF. Being in a rural community with many seniors proved to be challenging. To be able to hear from others across Canada brought encouragement in troubled times. I love to talk about PWRDF with every chance I get, especially at parish councils and monthly newsletters, in churches, and at regional council meetings. You keep me updated. I love to see your personalities with unique interests and desires to serve God. You keep us recharged. At the end of my PWRDF presentations, I try to make my people do some action, so I give my passionate plea. I hear the passionate pleas from your voices. I have been a widower for close to 23 years, alone and lonely, but really never alone. The Lord walks and talks to us daily. We are all partners with a common goal. Good and evil surround us, yet justice for all must prevail. Keep up the good work.
Thomas Lynch is a retired undertaker and the author of 5 books of poetry, a book of short fiction, and 5 books of essays. He is a National Book Award finalist and won the American Book Award for the undertaking, Life Studies from the Dismal Trade. Thomas joins Praying with PWRDF regularly from his home near Indian River in northern Michigan, where he is staff to his dog Carl and is currently working on his first novel. And I'm going to bring up an image that Thomas is going to speak to.
Thanks, Suzanne. And thanks to Kim and Janice and all who keep this parish virtually open to all of us. Here's a poem based on an illustration of an engraving made some centuries ago of a story that appears in 3 Gospels out of 4 about the healing of a paralytic at Capernaum. It's one of the several miracles of repair and restoration, of a sort with the prodigal son, the blind who are made to see, the corpses like Lazarus called forth from the tomb, and of course, the Paschal mystery at the center of Christianity and just around the corner in the liturgical calendar. In the story, as in this engraving, Jesus extends the open palm of redemption to the palsied man, and then asks the huddled begrudgers, the scribes and Pharisees, which is more difficult, more inspiring, to heal the soul by forgiveness or to heal the body by an evident miracle? Whence comes true faith, from the hidden or the manifest? It's a trick question, of course, because we are all a little paralyzed and forgiveness so often seems just out of reach. But what I love about the story is the undeniable miracle that is never mentioned, that a man stuck to his pallet by paralysis and poverty has 4 friends to bring him up to the top of a crowded house, dig open the roof sods and tiles, and lower him on ropes to the foot of his healer. It is their faith, their hope, their love, their bearing him and lifting him and lowering him. It reminds me of how this fellowship, through the long weeks of pestilence and quarantine, social distancing and isolation, has brought nonetheless healing and community to all of us. It is by getting the sick and infirm, the dying and dead, the sad and the heartsore where they need to go, that the rest of us get where we need to be. And if men are good at lifting, women are all the better at bearing. And the miraculous is that by working together, as is done in this fellowship, as partners and prayers with PWRDF, miracles both seen and unseen continue to happen. The engraving and the poem based on it are called "The Sick of the Palsy Healed and His Sins Forgiven," which, if you know the story, is a reversal of the narrative arc of the gospel according to Mark. Nonetheless, the sick of the palsy healed, and his sins forgiven. The graver's title tells it in reverse. So which the greater miracle, we're asked, to cleanse the soul or cure paralysis, the mercy hidden or made manifest? The King James Version has forgiveness first, the sins remission done invisibly. And then to quiet the scribes and Pharisees, arise, he says, take up your bed and walk. Wherefore begrudgers and their begrudging talk of blasphemy and sacrilege are hushed. The palsied man stands up and saunters off, bedroll and ropes gathered under his arm. Behold, we never saw a thing like that. The Savior's plain on this. It's faith that saves. The boyos on the roof, like pallbearers, delivered of their corpse and coffin straps, their thankless jobs all heft and heave and lift, done for yet another day, so they begin to mend the mess they've made of it again.